Hey guys, what's up? My name is Debbie. Welcome to my channel. We are watching the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, and I believe Kyle is still on the stand being cross examined. And we stopped right in the middle of, I want to say sidebar, but not really a sidebar. The jury was sent out of the room, and I forgot the defense attorney's name. He objected to something and they're hashing it out. I went back a little bit because I forgot what the objection was. So if you guys have super good memories, you might remember and say, oh, we already watched that part. But I wanted to back it up a little bit. So for context. Good morning, Judy. Wittenhouse. Wisconsin v. Rittenhouse. Testimony continues. One reporter's opinion of the verdict. The judge put his finger on the scale. The judge said that the victims couldn't be called victims, but could be called rioters, arsonists, and protesters. That said to the defense that it's okay to demonize the victims, in part by focusing on what they did right before they were shot. It also opened the door to demonizing the victims about what they were doing in Kenosha. You guys think that affected the verdict? I agree that the judge shouldn't have done that. They were victims. Because you don't blame the victim. Like back in the day, not so much anymore. Well, I guess there are still people that do it now, but more so, like, there's a movie with, I think it's Jodie Foster. I can't remember the name of the movie. It's based on a real life incident where this woman went to a bar and she was dressed provocatively and she got raped by, I think, by more than one guy. And everybody said, well, she was asking for it. Look at the way she was dressed. And that's kind of when victim blaming became a no-no. That was the case that was like, you don't ever blame the victim because just because they dressed a certain way or they did something they should have been doing or whatever, that doesn't give another person a right to assault you or kill you or whatever. So I don't know. Do you think that affected the verdict at all? Hey, Jill. Hey, Nichelle. Hey, Marty. Yep. We are family. Pointer Sisters. I've got all my sisters with me. We are family. Hey, Tricia. I did say super good memory. Not very often. Hey, Nichelle, did I say hi to you? Yeah, but I want to know what you guys think. Do you think it affected the verdict? Oh, yeah. You don't know the results yet, do you? Dang it. I know what I was gonna say. Marty, I watched the story about Left Brain going to the grocery store. That was hilarious. Oh, good. You'll have to let us know. That was hilarious. She goes, and this man has a PhD. I did say hi to you, Jill. I said hi to you. So yeah, everybody go check out Jeannie Robertson on YouTube. She is hilarious. Um, she calls her husband Left Brain. You know, as someone with a chronic illness, I knew something was wrong, and I tried and tried and tried to find a doctor that would tell me something was wrong with me, because I knew if they could figure out what it was, they could fix it. Well, that's what I thought at the time. And everybody kept saying that, "Oh, Debbie, there's nothing wrong with you. You're a perfectly normal young woman." I said, "No, I'm tired than everybody else my age. I hurt in strange places. It's not normal. It's not. I can't even keep up with friends my own age. This is not normal." "Oh, you're perfectly fine." I got so tired of, "You just need to rest," or I mean, the things people told me. "Take these supplements. Do this every day." It was ridiculous. It took me 10 years to find a doctor. Maybe not a whole 10 years. Let's see. It started when I was 16, and I think I was no, it was I think I was it was 10 years. I was 25 or 26 by the time I got a diagnosis. And I was so happy when I found out I had fibromyalgia, which sounds completely crazy, right? But when you don't know what it is and you don't know what to do about it, it's terrifying. And then to get a diagnosis and you know what it is, you can understand what's happening to you, you can take medication for it, or, in my case, physical therapy, massages, stretching, chiropractic, those type of things. Then it's like, I can do something about this. I don't just have to lay around and take it. So, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Even though it sounds crazy to somebody that doesn't have anything wrong, that makes perfect sense. Find what's wrong with me. It is Sister Sledge? I thought it was a Pointer Sisters. Oh, wow. Okay. My bad. Okay, here we go. My whole life, I thought that was a Pointer Sisters.
Decision point. This witness is not, by the court's order, allowed to testify as to what Mr. Rosenbaum was doing or his intent or anything like that. This was the subject of our motion hearing, and the court has excluded that. There's other characterizations too. For example, the reference observation point number 15 and 16, referring to people striking the defendant.
Why are there no
Number 19,
subtitles?
striking the defendant. Number 22, striking the defendant. Number 25, the gun of Gage Grosskreutz pointed towards the defendant. These are all things that the court has ordered that he's not going to be talking about those things. So the scope of this document 142 is well beyond the court's order. What he's being asked right now, and when I objected, is beyond the court's order. What he is characterizing in this Exhibit 142 in terms of his interpretation of what various people in the case were doing or what their intent was or anything like that is beyond the scope of the court's order. So my understanding from the court's order was he'd be able to say gunshot 1, 2, 3, and 4 to Rosenbaum happened in this amount of time. And then the second set of gunshots happened in this amount of time. And that's it, as far as the timing. The court's order was very specific as to that. So when we're talking about friendly, or throwing the bag or things like that, that's outside of that time frame.
I'm using demonstrative evidence to show how he reached these times. And it's all evidence that's already been testified to and admitted. Some of the evidence has been enhanced, just like the state enhanced the bag, some of the other photos. He's a licensed, trained video specialist. He has the background, and we're showing the jury what he used to get these values. And that shows how he did it and the reliability of doing it. And I'm not worried about what Mr. Binger's talking about, the comments or anything like that. That's a way that he found the times. Your Honor, just time in relationship to video in this case is so important. Yesterday afternoon, Mr. Binger spent much time cross-examining my client regarding those approximately 30 frames from the BG on the scene. And that was approximately a 1/10 of a second. And he spread it out. And what we're trying to do is show through video the true events of that night. And I believe it isn't with the court's order, because basically what we're looking at is an event, and the state can quibble with my time of when I started the event. They might say it's back 5-10 seconds before or whatever, but the total time of the event from friendly until he surrenders at the police car, 2 minutes and 55 seconds. The jury should know that. The events of each of the sub-events, the total time, the jury should know that. What happened between the two events, the jury should know that. They've been shown videos already of that.
Well,
If I may respond briefly.
yes, sir.
First of all, what counsel has just mentioned in terms of the overall timing is something he's free to play video and argue. The question is what this expert witness can testify to. The court has ordered specifically what he can and cannot testify to. Your order is one of limitation. It specifies the limits of what he can testify to. It's a fundamental notice issue, Your Honor. In his preliminary report, he didn't have information regarding the timing from friendly. That was a report from 3 months ago. We were not put on notice that there would be this testimony through this witness as to the timing of from the very beginning of all this to the very end. This Exhibit 142 is the first document we've received, and it was received today.
It was provided yesterday.
Don't interrupt. Don't interrupt.
It is the first document we've received from the defense pertaining to this witness with regard to the timing of the entire evening. It is beyond the court's order. We have not received proper notice as to this subject. I have no problem having this witness testify to observations 8, 9, 10, and 11. That is the exact scope of the court's order. Shot 1, shot 2, shot 3, shot 4. I have no problem with him testifying as to items, observations 20, 21, 23, and 26. Those are the 4 shots in the second incident with Grosskreutz, Huber, and the unknown assailant. That's exactly what this court limited him to. Those 8 observations on this sheet of paper. Everything else on this exhibit, which we just received, is beyond the scope of the court's order. We've not been provided notice of it. It wasn't in his original preliminary report. It is being sprung on us in the middle of trial. The court has ordered on this. We had a hearing on this. The court gave the defense opportunity to put us on notice of these things. We talked about these limitations. There was an agreement among the parties as to these limitations, which led to your order, Your Honor. And now the defense is going around that order. And I object to that.
Your Honor, I asked the court to think back to what's happened procedurally in this case. That FBI video didn't come around until about 2 weeks before trial. The drone video didn't come back until during trial. And most of this work has been done over the last 2 days to catch up to those exhibits. I provided this exhibit yesterday afternoon when it was first provided. The only change to it is and was a typo, which actually inures to the state's benefit by adding approximately 9 seconds.
I quibble with counsel. The FBI video was made available to counsel over 3 months ago.
That is
I don't want to, you know what, I don't want to get into it. It's been argued about before, and then we laid it aside, and at this point, I don't think I want to get into that because it isn't going to be helpful to resolution of the issues that we're after in the case. And I'm looking for the order. What was the date of that order?
I think it was November 2nd, Your Honor, but I'll pull it up here.
I believe that order was drafted by Mr. Binger.
It was.
And
I
I
submitted it to all parties. There was no objection to it. It was signed with no objection.
Okay.
And then the video came up after that.
Okay. I am. Here it is. All right. Now I say the order without objection, without really giving it a lot of scrutiny. As you know, we try a lot of cases in here, and because it came in without objection, I signed it, thinking that it covered what I had envisioned at the time of the hearing. I will tell you what I had in mind and I haven't looked at if there is even a transcript in existence. I don't think so. But it certainly was my impression that we were talking about video of the entire episode, and not that it certainly in my mind was not limited to the specific numbers on this observation point list that you're talking about. I'm a little bit challenged when you say, is there something that I'm saying that draws the face that you're making? Go ahead, say what you
I
want to
have
say.
to say, Your Honor, yesterday I was the target of your ire for disregarding your orders. Today, the defense is disregarding your order. I submitted that draft of that order to the defense. They had an opportunity to review it. They had an opportunity to object to it. We do this all the time in the court system. We submit proposed orders to the defense, to the other side, and to the court for everyone to take a look at. If anyone had a change, an objection to that, if they wanted to expand it, there was plenty of opportunity to do so. There was no response whatsoever from the defense. They never came to this court and said the proposed order is improper.
Binger is such a jerk. He had to say, I got in trouble yesterday, and now he's doing the same thing and not getting in trouble. Like, what are you? A kindergartner? Jeez.
Here is our version of the order. They never came to the court and said the proposed order needs to be amended in some way. They never responded at all, even though they had it, and even though they had plenty of opportunity to do so. They have every incentive to make sure that the court's order with regard to their expert witness is accurate. They have every incentive to make sure that that court order gives them the opportunity to get in all of the evidence through this expert that they feel they need to get in. Despite having that very powerful incentive, they did not object. They did not contact the court or me with any reaction to that order. You are the referee. The parties argue about things and you make a decision. We reached an agreement on this at the Dauber hearing.
I don't think on this issue.
I proposed
Not
this compromise, Your Honor.
specific,
I did, because there was some
Let's see what
back
you
and
want.
forth about the extent of the use of force issues and all that stuff. And I said, well, what about if we just agree, Dr. Black can talk about the timing of the shots and the sense making. And I then drafted this order. You gave the defense an opportunity to object. They didn't. You signed it. And my recollection, and again, I know you referenced the transcript, but in his preliminary report, Your Honor, all he talks about is the timing of the shots. In event 1, the 4 shots of Rosenbaum. In event 2, the shots of against the unknown assailant Bieber. So
Yeah,
there's nothing further in his preliminary report about the extent of this entire time frame. This exhibit 142 goes well beyond his preliminary report from July 31st. It goes well beyond what we talked about at the Dauber hearing. It goes well beyond what we agreed to that day, and it goes well beyond this court's order.
He's so condescending,
if I
talks
understand
down to
correctly,
everyone,
what's being
even the judge.
pursued by the state at this point is timing sequence for the time between the friendly and the surrender to the police, which he says is a total of 400 and some, or attempted surrender to the police, which he says is a total of 4 minutes and some seconds. All of which is, every second of which I think has been analyzed here in this courtroom. That was certainly my vision at the time we discussed all this, whether it was each part was specifically discussed in his preliminary report or not. That was my vision of what we were going to be hearing. And I guess the questions I have is, what is the prejudice to the state? Are you suggesting that what he's about to testify to, or may testify to, is going to be different with respect to the new periods of time than it is with respect to the particular periods that you identified in the order that you drafted? Or that's number one, as to whether there's prejudice to the state. Secondly, whether you think that there is some incongruity between the periods of time that might be more fully covered by the examination of the entire time period, because those are the principal issues. We're here, and you've practiced here. You were assigned here for
Hey,
quite a long
Mayor.
time, some years ago.
You
And,
do?
I think that
Hey,
say that
long time no see.
I want to have the whole thing presented
That's
to whoever
funny.
is finding the facts, whether it's me or whether it's the jury. I want to know as much as possible rather than try to isolate particular things and say, well, that isn't. I told the story the other day about
Just
the
left.
judge from Madison who was tormented whether to grant a motion to dismiss a burglary case on failure of proof of venue, not just proof of venue, whether that municipality was in Dane County or not. And I think, really, are you really worried about this? I don't operate that way. Now, I'm not criticizing you for bringing up this issue. I think it's legitimate, but it's not something that sways my judgment in the case. And unless you can tell me that you have reason to believe that doctor is going to testify differently about some of these other time periods within that less than 5 minute period, or that you are somehow prejudiced by the late arrival of the report. And I don't want to say late, although, okay, that's fair. Then I'm going to allow the testimony to be given.
If I may respond, Your Honor.
Please.
Yesterday, as I said, I was under the court's ire.
I don't want to talk about
Well,
Why don't
I
we
think
just-
it's a fundamental fairness issue, Your Honor.
All right, say what you want to say.
If I'm being held to obey the court's orders, I'm asking that the defense be held to that too. This is something we litigated at a Daubert hearing. We spent time on this. So-
You know, I am going to interrupt you, and then I'm going to let you talk again. But I was talking yesterday about the Constitution of the United States and how the Supreme Court has interpreted it for 50 years. That's not what we're talking about here today.
So this is a notice issue to the state. We have not been provided proper notice of this. And clearly, if the shoe were on the other foot and we tried something like this, there would be quite a kerfluffle about that. That's one point. This is, as I said earlier, it's beyond even his preliminary report. Like he's just adding new things at the last minute like this. And this is not prompted by new drone footage or anything like that. There's no mention of drone footage in this report. So to fall behind the excuse of, well, other new evidence has come forward, it doesn't change the fact that this is an expert. There are notice requirements for experts. There has been no notice of this issue. We've already litigated this, and now the defense is trying to expand it in direct violation of the court's order. One moment, Your Honor. I also wanted to point out that I think it's Exhibit 141 is a supplemental report that apparently Mr. Black prepared on October 24th, according to the date. We just got it yesterday. So again, another example of late notice here. I understand that the court wants to hear, or wants the jury to hear, the timing from the beginning of whenever we start to the end, whenever we draw that line. I understand that. There are other ways for us to do that, of course. We can take other videos. They all have timestamps on them. This expert is not needed for that. I don't think we're going to need that time frame down to the hundredths of a second. I think even tenths of a second, even 1 second is probably close enough for the jury to understand that this is not something that took days or hours. It was a matter of minutes. So I think they can already get that point without this expert's testimony.
Bye, Mayor. Thanks for
One
stopping by.
specific item of prejudice that I do want to bring to the court's attention is in Exhibit 142. As I pointed out earlier, there are characterizations here.
Well, I agree with you there. Doctors, I assume he's using it for to pinpoint particular events, and I agree with you. He's not going to be permitted to do that.
Okay, so I want to be, again, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page and that I'm understanding things clearly from the court. There are, for example, observation number 7 on 142 has a characterization of Mr.
You're right.
Rosenbaum's behavior. That will not be allowed?
He's going to have to find some way to express that that
Not using the word
is not conclusory.
change in elevation.
I'm going to try to let you do it in a prudent way, and if there's an objection, I'll deal with it.
Okay.
But yeah, I do think his objection is well stated, that there's some conclusory language in there, which is to be avoided.
Refer to, they're queued up. I can refer to, if he objects to that, I can just refer to it as 7.
That would seem to be unobjectionable.
I think if these are things where we're just going to show the jury that item, that moment in time, they can see it on the screen, then we don't need a witness to tell us what we're seeing. That makes it easy.
I'm not, I can't anticipate what he might ask or what your objection might be, so I'm not going to try to.
I would also continue by objecting to observations 15.
Go slow.
15,
As you mean to the description of the event that he gives?
yes.
Yeah, I think any of his descriptions are going to have to be non-conclusory on his part.
That's fine.
Okay, perhaps just to point to the particular moment in time and say this is at such and such an hour. I don't know.
Can I list the ones that I want to raise for, so we're.
No, because you can object when it happens. Because maybe, see, if I rule on everything now,
What?
then I may be talking about things that may never become an issue. And I'd rather, the jury's in the library now, and I'd rather get them out here.
Okay. One final thing, Your Honor.
You up in the bedroom
If there is
for a
any
debate.
data or reports that are generated by the software that Dr. Black is using when he prepares all this, I would like that. We've received a similar request from the defense this morning for Mr. Armstrong's things, so I would like that information from the defense.
No problem. Do you have any? Does your program
generate them? It's going to take a little bit of time, but they're all you can generate them all.
How much is a little bit of time?
Well, so Your Honor, the first thing I'd have to do in order to meet my understanding is I can go back in and relabel everything based on this.
You know what? I'm just trying to get the jury out here. How long are we talking about? Not why it's going to take us.
See?
How long
See,
will it take?
you woke
To
up.
relabel
with her.
everything, I'm guessing about 5 to 10 minutes.
Oh,
In
okay.
order to do the reports, Your Honor, that'll take a little bit longer.
Okay. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a big
You
problem.
rude.
Before your cross, you should be able to at least get the basics. Okay. Anything else?
No.
Ask the jurors to come out, please. Okay, would you
So-
put it-
I need a.
That's not going to be shown on the screen.
Put a piece of
What?
paper over it. Can you do that?
There is no more.
No, you probably can't.
Daddy has to go to the
Um,
You need to deal with it.
Make them only the numbers.
Okay.
There's other doctors.
That's what I'm
Ask the would you ask the jurors if they tell them it's going to be about 5 more minutes and they're welcome to go upstairs if they want or stay down here. And tell them I'm sorry I didn't turn on the music for them. Okay, tomorrow.
I knew I was going to have trouble with her when I was in bed for so many weeks. I knew coming back to the computer was going to be hard. She wants me to go lay down with her. When she did this yesterday, towards the end of the stream, I said 1 hour, which of course I know she can't tell time, but I'll be with you I'll go lay down with you in 1 hour. And then she went in there, went to bed and laid down. Sometimes I swear she understands what I'm saying. She may not understand every word, but she gets the gist of it. That would be cool. That would be cool. One day he played Jeopardy with the jurors. And I can't for the life of me figure out why the jurors were there and court hadn't started. But I know I saw it. I know he did it but it's not in the playlist. They must have cut it out. That's how I know that little notification thing on his phone is the Jeopardy. You know, when we hear the Jeopardy, I can't even imitate the sound it makes, but that's how I know it's his phone that does it, because he has it on his phone for Jeopardy. I love Judge Schroeder.
We're back, and how long was that 5-minute break? All right, we're going to be on our best behavior from here on in. Mr.
Thank you. Dr. Black, just to back up, the time calculations that I asked you to perform of the events of August 25th of 2020 from what we would refer to as, I'm trying to find it, observation number 3, which has been labeled PSSP now. Oh. Is that jury on? Is this TV on?
Yeah.
Okay.
What does that say in Chinese?
You'd have to.
It's just a screensaver of content,
No,
Your Honor.
the sound on his phone is the
It's
other
just a
one, the one
screensaver
that's
of
like
certain
when
type
they
of
hit
content.
a
You're not,
daily
no.
double or whatever on the board.
Dr. Black, from, as I said, observation
real
number
short.
3,
I
which has been
can't
labeled PSSP, till observation 31, which is now going to be labeled STP. What is the total amount of time of this event?
2 minutes and 55 seconds, approximately. It's calculated out. There's a bunch of variables in there, but approximately 2 minutes and 55 seconds, slightly under 3 minutes.
Please show video PSSP, screen 3.
Can you refer to it by number, please?
Observation 3.
Observation 3.
Now, have you done anything to change this video?
No, sir. You'll notice in the screen it's at 100%, 1280 by 720, and if you wanted more knowledge about it, it's at 30 frames per second, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
But it's unchanged.
They should, but he's a judge. He can do anything he wants.
Still frame, sir, that you want.
Okay.
But I can play from here. Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay. It's I'm gonna have to finish processing for a second.
Stop, please. Now, that is in this calculation of time, that would be the 0 frame. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, at this point here, that would be approximately where what you're referring to as the 0 frame. That red mark would be the 0 frame.
Okay. Now the next observation 4,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
JRPK. Did you do anything to enhance this video?
No, but I'm gonna have to, with the numbering while we were gone, you're asking for an observation that's no longer sitting in this. I mean, and maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're asking for.
Well, in the exhibit 142, observation 4, we've agreed to label it JRPK.
Right, but, okay. As part of what happened with what we had discussed, the observation 4 that's on here is no longer in the menu to the left. If I have to, I'd have to bring it back. I can get you there.
Is observation 5 available?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And observation 5, the event described has been labeled BBTB. Has anything been done to enhance this?
No, and this idea, as I'm bringing it up, in answer to your question, there's different places.
Okay, I forgot they were done with Kyle, but I also forgot who this guy was. He's obviously an expert witness, and he was allowed to sit at the desk because he's got his little machiney thing right here doing videos and stuff. But I forgot who he was. Spike! No!
Where observation 5 that you're referring to is being shown in different videos. This is one of those.
Okay, please play this video. Stop. Going to observation 7, which has been now labeled JREC. Do you have that?
I do, sir.
Now is, can you go back to the,
I will.
you ready?
I am.
Can you play that, please? Stop. Now, this screen is the start of the gunshots that have been attributed to Kyle Rittenhouse, correct?
For what's been referred to as Event 1, that is correct.
Okay. And using your program regarding sound and video, you have determined how far apart shot 1 and shot 4 were, correct?
I have.
And that's by using the frames per second and the audio graph?
It's a combination between them both, but yes.
Okay. And if I label shot 1 as 0 time, when does shot 2 occur?
Approximately 3/4 of a second by the different timings, 0.739.
Okay. I want to get shot number 2
Oh, I'm
first.
sorry, my fault. The second shot using shot 1 as a 0 point would occur 0.263 seconds after shot 1.
Okay. And what is the time between shots? What is the second and third shot?
The time between the second and third shot would be 0.247.
And the time elapsed between the third and fourth shot?
The time between the third and fourth shot would be 0.229.
And the total of those 4 shots fired by Kyle Rittenhouse occur in what amount of time?
0.739, or again, approximately 3/4 of a second.
Now, the shot, and you're looking at this videos, is not, those 4 shots are not the first shot, correct?
The first shot within the soundtrack around that time, those 4 shots are not the first shot that I hear within examining this video. That is correct.
And how many shots or shot were heard before those 4 shots?
Well, there's gunshots throughout the evening that I examined, but there's one clear shot that's heard prior to that.
And that occurred how many seconds before shot 0 or shot 1, which is the same shot?
So the shot, you referred to 2 shots as shot 1. So shot 0, the difference between what we're calling the first shot and then shot 0, is that correct?
Well, no. What I will refer to as the Zeminski shot. Council, we agree that the first shot was Mr. Zeminski.
Yes.
The Zeminski shot to Kyle, shot 0.
The time between the Zeminski shot, as you referred to it, and the shot attributed to Kyle Rittenhouse as his first shot would be approximately about 2 3/4 seconds. Again, I can look at the exact thing if you want. I just don't have the
That's
time in
fine,
front of me.
sir. Now, going down to screen 15, what we have labeled A1ST. Can you find that, please? Now, is this a still shot or a video?
This is a marked frame within the video stream.
Okay, could you back it up, say 3 seconds?
That's It's approximately 2.5. Is that enough?
Go back just a little bit more. That's good.
Okay.
And would you play that? Stop.
Yeah, that's what they do. They just sit there and stare. Drives me crazy. I was just thinking about something and how juries work, because there's 12 people on well, in Florida it's 6, but unless it's a capital murder case, but 12 people. The first time I watched this trial, I watched it by myself, and I was glad that he was found not guilty. Now I'm watching it with you guys, and we're discussing, you know, they shouldn't have been there, shouldn't have had guns, shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. And we're talking, of course, the jury doesn't get to talk about stuff like that during the trial, but they talk about it when they deliberate, right? So, so I watched the first trial by myself, and I'm thinking, this is just an innocent kid that was trying to help, and I was glad that he got off without any charges. Now, watching it with you guys and talking about it, my opinion has changed. I don't think he should have got first degree premeditated murder, but reckless endangerment 100%. So, and I don't feel like you guys have talked me into changing my mind. I feel like I have changed my mind on my own because we've discussed it. So, that's a perfect example right there of how juries work. And I think it's pretty cool that we have seen it right on my channel, right before our eyes, seen the effects of group mentality versus singular mentality. So I just thought that was cool and wanted to share it with you guys. Now, if you, let's say I was a person that was stubborn and was never ever going to change my mind and never ever say, I was wrong in what I was thinking, just one of those people that's so prideful that, like, no, I'm right, I'm not going to change my mind. That's where you get hung juries, or those kind of people that, you know. So I just thought that was cool. So I just wanted to point that out.
Now, that observation, according to
Yeah,
Exhibit
100%.
142, took place 28 seconds after the beginning of Mr. Rittenhouse leaving Car Source 3.
That is correct. There is an assumed time in there also.
Okay, and tell the jury about an assumed time.
So when looking at these videos, I have no continuous video stream that takes me from event 1 into the front end of what we're calling event 2. There's a gap. So what I did was I took a look on the video, event 2 that we're looking at right now, that you've seen is referred to before as the BGO video. And I measured a distance at the pace that Kyle Rittenhouse was running, jogging, whatever we want to refer to it. I have a known distance, and I have a time that it took him to run that known distance. Because I also have another known distance where he came from in the prior stuff. What I did is I applied basic math, saying if it took him this long to run this, I'm going to just take that same time of running over here. And then what I did is I put that in as the gap to fill it in. It does not address if he may have stopped or anything else in between that. It simply addresses if it was a constant state of motion.
Now, and what was your general deviation? I don't want to say general deviation, but what number did you come up with for that?
Basically, I used 9.05 or 9 seconds. So I allowed 9 seconds between the first part of it, and that's what's in the calculations. And again, those calculations are to add into the total time. Those calculations would not be, for example, time between shots or events that are on the same video stream, because those are known frames per second times a certain time equals certain time.
So basically, your calculation was that to run the distance of 150 feet, it took Kyle approximately 9 seconds.
Correct.
Now, what we've labeled the beginning of event number 2 was screen 15, which we just played, and that is depicting an individual on screen where Mr. Rittenhouse's hat is knocked off. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the next event, which is screen 16, which we have labeled A2ST, could you go about 10 seconds before that and show that?
Okay, so screen 16 is here. You'll notice it says 11:50. I will try to get approximately 10 seconds earlier.
Which is another gun-friendly state.
You know, that's plenty far back.
You want me to play at this point?
Please. Stop. Did you do any slowing down of this observation?
Yes, I did.
Could you please show me that? What you just played for the jury was real time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And there's a slow motion version?
Yes, much like what you saw
Ron?
Senior Examiner Armstrong this here, which is about to be played.
No. Stop.
That's
The slow motion of screen 16.
Is this the one you're referring to, sir?
Yes. Yes. Can you go back, please? We lost
Sure.
our both of them on.
The long one. I thought if I hit it twice really quick, it works better. Twice now should work. There you go.
Watching it on? Is everybody watching it on this one? Oh, there it goes. I don't know why it's not coming up on that one. I did.
showing up on one TV. It's got nothing to do with the other.
What was that, Binger? We don't know. We don't want to know what you did last night.
There. Thank you, doctor. Is it on this one also? Okay. Now, please play this screen in slow motion, doctor.
Why? I can't wait to see her get what she deserves. That
Stop.
little brat. I'm glad I live out in the country and don't have to order food.
The next
Actually, I wish I
screen
could order food, but
is 17,
that was
which we have
so
labeled
awful what she did to that guy.
KRLB. Can you bring that up, sir?
Judy.
And go ahead. Stop. This video, have you slowed it down for analysis? Could you please bring that up on the screen? And what speed will you be playing this at?
This one is done at a quarter speed.
Okay. And you have taken the sound out of it?
The soundtrack is not present. That's correct. Sound, since it is, as I explained earlier, uncompressed, the sound would not sync up when you slow it down.
Okay. And so then you would hear sound of gunshots, but not when they're occurring. Is that a fair statement?
Any of the sound that you hear would not be when it's occurring.
Okay. Please show the quarter speed video. Stop it, please. Now, using this video and the audiograph, were you able to figure the times of certain events in event number 2?
Yes, sir.
From the time, strike that. There is what's commonly referred to as jump kick man entering in the video. Do you know who we're talking about, doctor?
I do.
And when you analyze this video, did
Hi, Jill.
jump kick man kick Kyle in the face first, or the first shot go off before the kick.
I'm going to object, Your Honor. This is beyond the scope of the court's order regarding this witness's opinion.
It seems to me the jury could, you're asking him to make an identification that the jurors could make themselves?
I'm asking him, based upon his video analysis, what happened first, the kick to the face in the first gunshot in event number 2, or the gunshot in event number 2, and then the kick to the face.
Overall,
Can you ask the question again, please?
Yes, based upon your analysis of the video and sound analysis, what occurred first, the kick to the face by jump kick man to my client, or the first gunshot?
Based on my analysis, the kick to the face occurred prior to the gunshot.
And after that was Kyle's first shot in the second event, correct?
If I'm understanding the question correctly, after the kick, the first shot in the second event occurred. That is correct.
Okay, and that happens, I mean, thousandths of a second after. They're very close in time, correct?
They're absolutely very close in time.
Shot number 1, using that first shot at jump kick man as the 0 shot, how much time elapsed from the 0 shot to Kyle Rittenhouse second shot at jump kick man?
From the beginning time of shot 1 in the second event till the point of shot 4 was 5.468 seconds.
Are you looking at the exhibit?
I am. And maybe I'm misunderstanding your
Yeah.
question.
I have the amount of time elapsing from the 0 shot to the second shot.
I think I know what's here.
Kyle's second shot in that event. I'm crossing references, and I apologize.
To make this as clear as possible, the first shot in the second event between that time and the fourth shot in the second event is 2.933 seconds.
Okay. And how many of shots were fired in event number 2 in total?
For the shots from what's been attributed to Kyle Rittenhouse, 4.
Okay. And the timing between each shot. So Kyle Rittenhouse, and I'll keep it constant. Kyle Rittenhouse shot 1 is at the 0 time, correct?
If we use that as a 0 timer starting point, we will call that 0.
Okay. Kyle Rittenhouse shot number 2, which was directed at jump kick man, how long after shot 1?
0.602 seconds.
Shot number 3, which is the strike, the shot to Anthony Huber. How long was that shot after shot number 2?
1.933.
And the last shot, for Mr. Huber's shot to Anthony, Gage Grosquist's shot was how much time?
Okay, and I'm going to back up on this because I want to make sure
Use
this is
some
absolutely
demonstratives
clear.
or something.
Again, 2.933. In one case, we're talking the gap or time between shots. What I just relayed was the time between shots. The total time of all shots was, again, my first answer, 5.468. So this is just clarification for the court.
And so the total of this event of shots fired is 5.468 seconds.
That is correct.
And that event ends at screen 27. You just roll this.
I have 26.
Okay. Which is shot number 4. KRS4.
He should make a noise in the
Do you
courtroom
want to play it here, sir?
Yeah, if you back
and
up
then
close.
wait
And do you want to play it
that
in
amount of time.
size or back to normal?
and like act it
That
out
size
for
is
the jury.
fine in a factor of half or quarter speed, please.
That would be at normal speed.
My monsters? I hope they went to bed.
From approximately the same point, slowed down.
I think to show how fast everything happened and to show that he didn't fire the first shot, maybe? I don't know.
Can you go forward until Mr. Rittenhouse gets up, please?
Yes, sir.
But I think they should do some type of demonstrative in the courtroom rather than just play the video and say how many seconds between the shots. Because this is just a jumbled up thing in my head. But if you were to right there in front of me make a noise
You can stop there.
and then so many
Based
seconds
upon
later
your
make
video
another noise.
analysis, after this time, does Mr. Rittenhouse fire his weapon anymore?
No.
And from here, Mr. Rittenhouse leaves and continues north down Sheridan Road until he gets to a police officer squad, correct?
Yes, sir.
And from that time, him getting up until he arrives at the police squad car to surrender, how much time is that?
Doing quick math, approximately 1 minute and 26 and about 3/4 a second.
So 126.75,
Approximately. That's just doing quick math.
understood. Now, you were in court yesterday to hear the testimony and cross-examination of Kyle Rittenhouse, correct?
I was.
And you observed the demonstration that the state put on in showing frames
I didn't say shoot, I said make a
476
sound.
to 500 in the BG of the scene video, correct?
I did.
And 476 to 500 is how many frames per second?
Well, depending on the video that they were showing, my understanding, if my recollection is correct, is they had told us that it was 30 frames per second.
Okay. And at 30 frames per second, that would have been less than a half second of actual action that are broken down into stills, correct?
Again, the numbers being 476, is that correct?
476 to 500.
Right, so that would be 24 frames at 30 frames per second. If it was 30 frames per second, it would be approximately 3/4 of a second.
And Doctor, when one looks at video as a depiction of an event, does that necessarily show what the actors in that video were observing?
I'm going to object, Your Honor. This is beyond the scope of the court's order.
This is the video that.
The short answer is it's impossible for it to do that. Describing it to you the best way that I can. Imagine, well, you were just doing it. All of you were looking at a video screen, a depiction. It's a known focal length from you, yet you can see from maybe, if I go halfway between the jury, about 12 feet, and that stays constant. And then you look from that distance all the way out to 50 yards. Everything in that frame is at the same exact moment of clarity, but your eyes can't do that. The other thing is you're looking at two actors in this case, maybe 5 or 10 actors that you were looking at, depending on what each one of you chose to look at. So the video can't tell you what each one of you were looking at. And it can't tell you what either actor in there was looking at, attending to, nor perceiving. Putting that in its context, though, video has absolute benefit to an analyst to help us understand what was objectively occurring. And that's the way that we use it. And that's, in my argument, the way it should be used. But it also has potential limitations. And I think you actually heard Senior Examiner Armstrong speak to some of those limitations. Camera movement, movement of people, lighting. So for example, we can brighten it up a little bit or clarify it. You can't do that with your eyes. So the short answer is video has great value, but it is not the experience or the perception of the people involved in the event. It can't be.
What is the difference? I mean, video is 2-dimensional
Yes, sir.
and reality is 3-dimensional.
At a minimum.
Okay. And how does that not translate, if you can opine on that?
Absolutely. So for the members of the jury, if you were to just take and pick a point that's maybe about 6 feet in front of you, maybe on Madam Court Reporter's desk, and you were also to pick a point over here and look at it, I want you to have both of those points in perfect clarity at the same time. Now what I want you to do is, I'm holding up my glasses, so I've already told you what it is, but I want everybody to sort of look at the same point you picked on Madam Court Reporter's desk, and then while you're completely focusing on that, tell me when my glasses drop. We can see that in the video. We have the luxury of hindsight. We have the luxury of going back and taking a single frame. Think about this, 30 frames per second. The blink of an eye is approximately a third of a second. In the blink of an eye, 3 frames have gone by. And we will sit here and examine a frame for moments, minutes, who knows how long an examiner looks at it. That's not wrong. We should be doing that. That's due diligence. But we also have to remember what was the limitation of the actors involved. What were they looking at? What could they even have seen? What were they attending to? What was happening to them? This goes back to the area of sense making that you heard the counsel speak to. And then more importantly, when we get done with it, we bring it back up to normal speed and say that's the best it could get, regardless of all the slow motion we do to it, enhancing of video levels, clarification, light, all those types of things.
Lastly, Doctor, the shots in event 1 took less than 1 second, approximately 3/4 of a second.
Approximately 3/4 of a second.
And the events, like event number 2, the 4 shots in event number 2 took a total of 2.93 seconds, correct?
That's incorrect. They took a total of 5.468.
I apologize.
2.933 was the time between the third and the fourth shot.
So the total between the 2 events of shooting is less than 7 seconds.
Are you asking if you were to put both those 2 figures together?
Yes,
Yeah, it's about 6.5 seconds.
I have nothing further.
Cross-examined? Well, wait a minute. We need a break? No? Okay, let's go.
Do you want this off screen, counsel?
No, you can leave it up. That's fine. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
You indicated earlier that your law enforcement experiences in the state of Oregon. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
You have never worked as a law enforcement officer in the state of Wisconsin?
No, I have not.
And you were retained by the defense to provide expert opinions in this case, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you are being compensated for that?
Yes, sir.
What is your hourly rate?
It varies somewhere
I
between,
hate
for
this
certain
question.
tasks, $160 an hour, and other tasks up to $480 an hour.
And for your testimony here right now, are you billing at a rate of $480 an hour?
No, sir, I'm billing at a rate of $320 an hour.
$320 an hour to be here in court to
Yes, sir.
testify?
Asked and answered. Why do you always repeat the question?
You indicated that when you timed the gap in time between what we are referring to as the Zeminski shot, that's the first gunshot in the incident between the defendant and Joseph Rosenbaum. You're familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir, I am.
The time between that and the defendant's first shot at Joseph Rosenbaum, you timed that at, I believe you said, about 2 3/4 seconds. Is that correct?
And I can bring it up exactly if you want.
Yeah, could you
Is that
please?
helpful? So here you can see the first shot over here where my cursor is moving at 24.61. And then the first shot here at 27.25. So obviously if you go out to the hundredths, you see it down here where my cursor is moving. And I can take a look at my notes, but it would be the time between those two. So again, approximately 2 3/4, thereabouts.
Okay. And you have also broken down the gap in time between the defendant's fourth shot to Joseph Rosenbaum and the time in which that first person comes up behind him and swings at his head. Do you understand those two events that I'm describing? If it's helpful, your observation, so on the list of observations you have, observation 11 is shot number 4 to Joseph Rosenbaum.
I was thinking the same
Right,
thing.
so if I understand correctly, we're asking for the time between 11 and 15.
Yes.
Okay.
Ask me anything you want for as long as you want. I'm getting paid.
I'm glad you're doing the math for me, by the way. 'Cause I'm not
I'm about to bring my calculator up in front of the screen for you guys. But putting that aside, 1.837.
Oh, do it by hand. It'll take longer. You'll make more money that way.
So rough math again, about 1 minute 48 seconds thereabouts.
So it takes approximately 1 minute and 48 seconds between the time that the defendant shoots Joseph Rosenbaum the fourth time and the time that the first person on the street makes, shall we say, physical contact with Mr. Rittenhouse?
And I apologize. I was doing the time between number 14. So the time between, and just to make sure we're correct, 15 is the observation you're referring to, correct?
Yes.
And the time between observation 11.
Yes. If it's helpful, Doctor, I'm doing rough math in my head. It appears to be roughly 59 seconds, about a minute.
48,
That sound about right?
48, 49, 50, 57.
So about a minute passes between. At this moment in the video, do you have the ability to zoom in so that we can see even clearer the area between the defendant and Mr. Grosskreutz? Are you able to keep the video centered on that location?
I can, you'll see me moving to do it, but I can do it as I'm moving. There'll be a little bit of a jag. It's not going to be smooth.
Would you be able to play from this point and try and keep it in as zoomed, as clear, as close as possible so we can see the defendant and Mr. Grosskreutz? Do you understand what I'm asking?
The goal would be to keep this and this in frame at the speed that's being played.
Yes, could you do that for us, please? Pause right there, please. Now, Dr. Black, if I can look at your Exhibit 142, you have a number of observation points there. I think there are a total of 31 of them on this list. Do you have that in front of you still?
I did.
Okay. And observation point number 8 is the first shot that the defendant fires at Joseph Rosenbaum. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And observation number 26 is the final shot that the defendant fires at Mr. Grosskreutz, correct?
Also correct.
Can you tell us the amount of time that passes between the first shot, observation number 8 to Joseph Rosenbaum, and the final shot to Mr. Grosskreutz, which is observation number 26?
I can, and again, and just to make sure that I have the numbers again, we're looking for observation 26, correct? As the stop point. Is that correct, sir?
Yes.
Okay. And your start point one more time, please.
Observation 8
8.
to observation 26.
Approximately 1 minute and 20 seconds.
In that 1 minute and approximately 1 minute and 20 seconds, the defendant fires all 8 shots that we see. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
You indicated also you've measured the time between the 2 shots that the defendant fires at the person who jumps and tries to kick him in the face.
Yes, sir.
And you indicated that the gap between that first shot to that individual and the second shot to that individual was 0.602 seconds.
Yes, sir.
So approximately 0.6 of a second.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, you also have the ability with the software that you're using to give us the data that's generated by that software. There's a separate report you can generate as part of that. Is that fair to say?
For part of it, what's referred to as a workflow report. So basically, the actions that I took upon a piece of video, the workflow, whether it's enlargement or these type of things, those can be generated.
And do you have the ability to generate that here today if you wanted to?
It would take a little bit of time. I can generate it. I wouldn't say that I could generate it today. I'd probably have to do it during the evening, but I can get them generated.
Okay, and that would show us the work that you've done to modify, edit, or do anything to the videos that we're showing in this, in what you've testified to so far, correct?
Yes, between the notes, as in if I write down a parent file, and then this was changed from 30 frames per second to 7.5, using nearest neighbor with a crop like this, I'd be able to do that.
Okay. And you indicated earlier that you're being paid hourly for this. How much in total so far have you billed the defense for the work you've done in this case?
Estimated at probably a little over $9,000.
Your Honor, we asked earlier for some data that he can generate for us. I'd like to see that before I finish my examination of this witness.
No objection.
So at this point, I'll pause.
Okay, well,
We could put on a different witness while that's
that'd be
happening.
great.
Is that acceptable?
Yes, thank you.
May he leave? Yes.
testimony about the witness matter be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. You may be seated.
What just happened? I'm confused. Is that guy going to come back? They didn't do redirect. So if he's working on something now, then they're going to come back to him.
Could you please state your name, spelling your last name for the record?
Officer Brittany Bray, last name spelled B-R-A-Y.
Officer, were you employed by the Kenosha Police Department on August 25th, 26th of 2020?
Yes, sir.
And in the early morning hours of the 26th, did you have an occasion to collect some evidence?
Yes, sir.
And directing your attention to what we're referring to as event number 2 or crime scene number 2 on Sheridan Road. Do you remember that?
Yes.
Now, if I show you some exhibits, be able to tell me if you're familiar with them.
Yep.
Just take a look at those and see.
Yes, I'm familiar with all of them.
Okay, and what are they?
They are shell casings.
And are they all the same caliber?
Yes, sir.
And are they all the same make or brand?
Yes, they are.
And those were found in the middle of Sheridan Road?
Correct.
And did you find or log into evidence any unfired bullets at that location of that caliber and that brand?
No.
If there had been an unfired bullet matching those empty shell casings, is that something you would have taken as evidence?
Yes.
Thank you. Move those exhibits into evidence.
No.
Proceed.
Now the bullets and the gun, please. What's that? Guns, 147 in magazine. 48. Firearm. I'm going to show you what's been marked as exhibit defense. Can you read the number for me? I took it out of my glasses.
Sure. 983.
Defense 146.
146. There you go.
You recognize that?
Yes, I do.
What is it?
It is a 40 caliber Glock 27 that I collected on scene.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear the
Yeah.
last part of what you said. Can you speak?
Sure. Sorry. It's a Glock 27 40 caliber handgun I collected at the scene.
That you collected that on Sheridan Road on the 26th,
Correct.
and it is still in the same condition and box you put it in.
Yes, sir.
Showing you what's been marked as defense exhibit 147. Could you tell me what that is?
is the magazine that was collected near the gun.
Okay, is that magazine loaded?
It is,
Did you ever determine how many bullets were in that magazine?
I believe, 9.
Is that on the label?
The amount of bullets?
Yeah.
No.
And lastly, Defense Exhibit 148. Could you tell me what that is?
This is going to be the unfired 40 caliber round I found near the gun.
Okay, so there was an unfired round D148 found in the same area as the shells that were in the magazine and the Glock, correct?
Correct.
And did you ever look to see if they were the same make and model?
I did.
Were they?
Yes.
So, might sound like an obvious question or a stupid question, but you at a crime scene, if you find an unfired bullet, you pick that up.
Yes.
I have nothing further.
Cross-examine.
What's that? I would move them into evidence.
Is there objection?
No.
Numbers
146, 147, and 148.
are received.
Good morning, Officer Bray.
Good morning.
Did you collect any other guns or evidence? Well, let me put it this way: any other guns than what you've just testified to?
No.
Are you familiar with AR-15s?
Yes.
How are you familiar with them?
I own them. I've shot them. I've trained with them.
Have you ever had an experience where one has jammed on you?
Yes.
Can you tell us about that?
You have to clear it, usually to rack the slide back to eject the jam, whatever the round is that's jammed in there. Send it forward, and another bullet would go into the chamber.
When you have to eject whatever's in the chamber, the thing that's being ejected, is that a spent shell casing or is it
Could
an
be
unfired
either
round?
or. Could be either or.
We need to make sure we're not talking at the same time for the
Sure.
benefit of the court reporter. So in your experience, have you ever had a situation in which you have pulled the trigger, the round has fired, but the spent shell casing did not automatically eject like it should?
Yes.
And then that process you've described would be the way of ejecting that spent shell casing?
Correct.
I have nothing further.
Sure, it's been previously marked as Exhibit 28. Not this specific gun, but are you familiar with guns like this type?
Yes.
And if one had a jam or had to clear, one would pull back. I don't know how to do it.
There you go. Yep.
Right here,
Correct.
Show the trigger.
And that would eject the bullet that was here, correct?
Correct.
And I've got a standard ruler that I was provided by the court from the back of where the charger sits to the end of it, 4 inches. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, sir.
And to clear the weapon, you have to take it all the way back and let it all the way forward.
Yes.
Which is a very obvious movement, correct?
Yep.
And takes time.
Yes.
I don't know.
Maybe cross.
Just one briefly. So if you just fired that gun and that spent shell casing didn't properly eject, what would happen if you pulled the trigger then?
It would go click. It wouldn't go bang.
So in order to fire the gun a second time after that, you would have to do that re-racking. Is
Yes.
that right?
Correct.
And then if there were ammunition in the magazine, it would load another round and the gun would be ready to fire.
Correct.
That's all I have.
Let me step down.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give in this matter be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
You may be seated.
Sir, will you state your name and spell your last name, please?
My name is Frank Andrew Hernandez, also known as Drew Hernandez publicly. My last name Hernandez.
Okay. And Mr. Hernandez, can you tell us a little bit of your background in terms of what you do for work?
So I'm a professional commentator on Real America's Voice. I commentate on the news. I commentate on what's in pop culture on a daily basis. And I also do on-the-ground reporting, specifically on protests and the 2020 riots.
And as it relates to the your on-the-ground kind of reporting is what I'm interested in. Were you in Kenosha on the evening of August 25th of 2020?
Yes.
And were you there to cover what was happening with the civil unrest in Kenosha?
Yes.
And were you able to do that with some type of video equipment?
I use my iPhone and I also use a body cam. And specifically on this night, that's what I was using to document the riots.
Now, after the 25th, I don't want to know where you live, but you don't live in Kenosha. Is that
No.
fair?
No.
Was there a time after the 25th that someone from law enforcement had reached out to you to try to get a hold of some of the information that you had through video?
Yes, I don't remember his name specifically, but a detective did reach out to me.
Okay. If I said it was Detective Ben Antaramian or Detective Martin Howard, does that do anything?
One of
for
the
you?
two. He identified himself from Kenosha.
And were you able to make connection in some form or fashion with those law enforcement officers?
Yes.
Okay. Can you just briefly explain kind of how that went down?
So they requested all the footage that I had, and they sent me a Dropbox link that was not sufficient. It only had, I don't know, not enough memory because the body cam footage is, over 50 videos. But the reason why I wasn't able to follow up was because I was covering all the riots last year. I was in Portland, Seattle, Washington, D.C., was all over the country, so I just lost track.
So is it fair to say after the civil unrest in Kenosha, your employment then took you to cover other things going on around the United States?
Yes.
And so if I have it right, you and law enforcement had kind of not for some period of time after that.
Yes.
Was there a period of time then closer to today or this trial that you were able to do that?
Yes, I did that through my attorney.
And were you able then to provide to both Mr. Rittenhouse's lawyers and the prosecution a full set of the videos that you had mentioned that you had taken?
Yes.
And so my questions to you initially will be this. Were you kind of working by yourself that evening, or were you working with a team, or what?
Yes, last year I was working independently by myself.
And is it fair to say that on that night you didn't know who Kyle Rittenhouse was?
No.
I don't know if you've heard this, but there's been other people mentioned Mr. Rosenbaum, were you aware of who that was?
No.
Were you aware of Mr. Huber or Mr. Grosskreutz?
No.
Okay, so you had no knowledge of any of these people prior to August 25th?
Nope.
Fair? Okay. So looking back now, understanding you're familiar with who Mr. Rittenhouse is now, correct?
Yes.
Have you had an opportunity on your videos to see if you had captured Mr. Rittenhouse on video, had any type of contact with him in any way?
I have had no contact with Kyle Rittenhouse, but I have looked at footage to just go over it. Yes.
And does your footage capture any, excuse me, any contact, maybe not personal contact, but anything that you saw Mr. Rittenhouse doing that evening?
Yes.
Can you describe that?
So Antifa and the rioters were going head to head with the police in front of the courthouse. And as they were doing so, the police then responded. I believe they called an unlawful assembly of some sort because Antifa had their riot shields out. They were throwing rocks at the police officers. They were even trying to get inside of the hood of one of the police vehicles. And this is all documented on footage that I submitted as well. But to answer your question, when the rioters were being dispersed further down Sheridan towards the car source dealerships down the street, the rioters were grabbing concrete slabs. They were throwing them on the floor to create more rocks and to throw them at police officers. They were launching fireworks and other explosives that I couldn't identify. But as they were being past car source 2, and the rioters identified individuals with long arm rifles on top of the building, and they immediately attempted to agitate them, to try and start some conflict with them, saying, "You ain't the police, you ain't the police." The rioters initiated that conflict.
Objection on a move to strike. He's speculating as to the intent of people.
It's also hearsay.
You need to proceed by question and answer.
Very good. Okay. So my question is this. Did you see, in reviewing your videos, did you see Mr. Rittenhouse on the 25th?
Yes, and that at that point, Kyle Rittenhouse came out of car source 2 and he attempted to de-escalate the situation.
Okay, so if I have this right, we've been all doing this for almost 2 weeks now. But this is the car source 2 or car doctor, it has now been referred to. This is the place you're talking about?
Yes.
Okay. And that is the first time that you had observed Mr. Rittenhouse, is that fair?
Yes.
Right. And you had said that you had saw him come out from inside the building.
Yes, it appeared to be.
And did you hear, did you just see him or did you hear anything he was saying?
I just saw him.
And what did it appear that he was doing?
In the video, Kyle has his hands like this, and he is saying something, but I can't identify what he's saying. But he clearly attempts to de-escalate the situation, and he actually is successful because the rioters then disperse.
During that evening, I know that you said you didn't know who he was, but did you, in looking back at your videos, have an opportunity to observe someone that evening, Mr. Rosenbaum?
Yes.
And do you recall, just tell me where you saw him originally, if you can.
The first time I saw Mr. Rosenbaum was when the police were pushing the rioters back to the gas station on Sheridan, Ultimate, I believe. And Mr. Rosenbaum was pushing a flaming dumpster on fire into police vehicles that were occupied by officers and human beings.
Mr. Hernandez, I'm going to show you what has been marked as Exhibit 149. Can you identify that? Tell me what that is, a photo of?
This is a photo of the event I just described.
Okay. And does that photograph, that's a still photograph of a video that you took, is that
Yes.
right? Right. I'm going to ask that you look to your left.
Okay.
And if you can play that, can you tell me if that's what you captured? Is that the video that you're talking about with Mr. Rosenbaum?
Yes.
Okay. Now, can you just back it up a second? That's good. there's a person who's putting out that dumpster fire, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall, or can you tell whether or not that person, at least visibly, was armed?
No, not at the time.
You couldn't tell if that person was armed?
No.
Did you see, I'll ask it to you this way, that's probably a bad question. Did you see a weapon on that person?
No.
And can you just play the video then? After you captured that video, then was there other? Did you capture Mr. Rosenbaum then doing anything again after that video?
Yes, he immediately was triggered and aggravated because an
Now,
individual.
why do you say that?
Because you can even hear at the end of the video, Rosenbaum is saying, "Why do you do that?" And right after this event is when they identified the individual with the fire extinguisher with the individuals with the rifles in the gas station, and their attention went from the police immediately to the individuals at the gas station.
So what I'm interested in is Mr. Rosenbaum.
Yes.
Did you see Mr. Rosenbaum do anything that kind of drew your attention after what we saw?
Absolutely. He led the charge into the gas station. He was getting physically aggressive. He appeared to be attempting to start a physical altercation with people in the gas station to the point where he was telling one of the individuals with a rifle, "Shoot me, N-word, shoot me, N-word," clearly attempting to start a physical altercation.
I'm going to show you what has been marked as I think it's 150. Can you tell the jury what that is?
This is right after the dumpster was put out and Joseph Rosenbaum and other rioters around him begin to turn their attention onto the individuals with rifles at the Ultimate gas station.
Is that Mr. Rosenbaum that we see kind of will be on the right side of our screen?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. So you observed, that's you filming that, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the last thing I'm going to ask you about is was there another time prior to the shooting of Mr. Rosenbaum that you observed Mr. Rosenbaum and Mr. Rittenhouse in the same location?
Yes.
And if you know, about how long before the shooting did you see that?
So after this scene at the gas station, there was another fire at a mechanic shop a block away. Went to go document that for about 20 minutes. And when I came back is when I saw Rosenbaum in the middle of the street lighting a trash can on fire with now his identity concealed with a t-shirt over his face.
So I'm going to show you what is then marked as exhibit 151. Can you tell me what that is?
This is when I returned to Sheridan after documenting the fire at the mechanic shop about a block away. And this is the beginning of when I see what I just described.
Okay. But, and I might have to stop it. So. Now, can you tell me, is this person right here? Do you know now that's Mr. Rosenbaum?
Yes.
I didn't hear the question. Do you know now that?
That's the person in that video is Mr. Rosenbaum. Now, was that did you see Mr. Rosenbaum with that mask on that you had talked, the shirt wrapped around his head?
Yes.
Okay. And he appears to be walking, he's southbound on Sheridan?
Yes, towards Car Source 3.
Okay. Can you roll it again? You see this person right here?
Yes.
Okay. Does that person appear to be holding something in their hand?
Yes, that is a fire extinguisher.
Okay. And does that person appear to have on something on his hands or on their hands?
Yes, purple gloves.
Is this the person right here? It's blurry right now. But is that the person that you saw carrying the fire extinguisher
Yes.
with the purple gloves? Okay. Now, go ahead. If you know, or based on what you saw, did this person here with the fire extinguisher and purple gloves, did that person react to anybody else that you saw at this point that was walking in front of him?
No.
Okay. Did you see him at this point? Was he, in your opinion, did he say anything?
Yes, if you play the video further, I believe you could hear Kyle saying or requesting if anybody needs medical. And the reason why it may not be shown on this is because it's body cam, but I could see this with my own vision as I'm walking down the street.
Okay, go ahead. Now, at this point, it appears this person here is Joseph Rosenbaum. Is that right?
Yeah, if you back it up a couple seconds, you'll see him even more clearly, and that is Joseph Rosenbaum, yes.
Now, when he was walking down the street, headed south on Sheridan, he was ahead of Mr. Rittenhouse. Is that right?
Yes, he was.
Okay. Now, in this photograph or still a video, he appears to be behind him.
Yes.
Okay. Now, do you hear somebody say "fuck you"? Right?
Yes.
Were you able to ascertain or make out who said that?
At the time, no.
Okay. And you see, right, Joseph Rosenbaum running after Kyle Rittenhouse? Is that about as close to the incident as you get?
At the direct time of the shooting, yes.
Did you see what Joseph Rosenbaum was doing as he was chasing Kyle Rittenhouse?
So I was at the corner of the car source, and the first thing I did identify was that Rosenbaum was charging Kyle Rittenhouse from behind. And then as he's charging him into the car source parking lot, a firearm goes off. You can see it in the frame at the top of the car.
Can I ask you this? Stop me for a second.
Yeah.
Did you hear that real time?
Hear it and saw it in real time.
Okay, go ahead.
And as the first firearm goes off, Rosenbaum is already charging Kyle from behind, attempts to throw a bag at him, not sure what's inside of it. And Kyle is right at the corner, right there, the car source, and turns around, and Rosenbaum is lunging towards him very clearly, and Kyle fires.
And do you see that with your eyes?
Yes.
That night?
Mhm.
Okay. Your contact with Kyle that evening was just in terms of what you observed, I'm asking. Did you observe him acting in an aggressive manner to anyone that you observed?
In no way, shape, or form. The first time I saw Kyle, he actually de-escalated a situation.
Did you observe him at any time that evening pointing his firearm at anybody or threatening anybody with that firearm?
No.
Your Honor, I would move, I think it's 149 to 151, and I don't have any other questions from Mr. Hernandez.
Objection?
No.
Cross-examine.
I do have to break. It's new.
I'm told the food is coming around 12:15, so why don't you go ahead now, please?
Good afternoon, Mr. Hernandez.
Good afternoon.
Where do you live normally?
I live in Arizona.
So you don't live in Kenosha,
How is that
don't live in
relative?
Wisconsin.
How is that relative
You
or
came
your
up
business,
here
Beamer?
because you wanted to cover the things that were going on in Kenosha after the shooting of Jacob Blake. Is that fair to say?
The violent riots, yes.
The violent riots.
Yeah.
By Antifa.
There were Black Lives Matter supporters. Antifa was present. This is all documented on video, yes.
You've made a lot of videos of what you consider to be Antifa and Black Lives Matter riots in Seattle, Portland, DC, other cities. Fair to say?
I haven't made them. I documented them.
Well, did you record them?
Yes.
Okay, so when I said made, you recorded video.
Yep.
And that's because and then you take that video and you post it on where?
Twitter, mainly, social media.
You also have your own YouTube channel?
Yes.
Do you have your own independent website that you operate?
I do have an independent website, yes.
What's that called?
drewhlive.com.
What is that?
That's my own independent website.
But is it like a news source? Is it
It's
a
an
blog?
independent website
Of what type?
for myself.
You characterized yourself as a professional commentator. What does that mean?
That means that I comment on the news professionally on a daily basis.
Professionally meaning you're paid?
Yep.
Who pays you?
I am employed by Real America's Voice.
Real America's Voice?
Yes.
What is that?
That is a news commentary, breaking news website. They have their own apps and website.
Other than getting paid by Real America's Voice, do you get paid by any other source to do your professional commentating?
No.
Is your Drew H Live website part of Real America's Voice?
No.
The things that you post on your website, Drew H Live, do you also share those with Real America's Voice?
Depending on what's going on where I'm at. But this is unrelated to what happened in Kenosha because I was not employed by Real America's Voice at the time.
That's something that's happened since then.
Yes.
And does Real America's Voice have any sort of political bias or agenda or anything like that?
What is development?
It goes to the bias of the witness, Your Honor.
The bias in what respect? I assume that people, as I commented at the beginning, this is not a political trial. And I don't know how you would isolate a person's particular politics and determine that that person is going to evaluate the evidence one way or another.
Okay, I'll move on. Your videos that you have captured of these incidents that you call riots, they're very slanted against the people who are rioting. You characterize them as Antifa, Black Lives Matter rioters, correct?
Because they are rioting in the footage. Yes, absolutely.
And so you came here to Kenosha because you felt that's what was going on here.
I felt like it could have possibly been a riot on the first night. So when I showed up, it turned out to be a very violent riot.
And you continued to cover that on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday nights?
I covered it Sunday night. I went back to Chicago Monday and then came back Tuesday.
Binger, he's not on trial, right?
No.
And on Tuesday night, you were recording video with your body cam?
Yeah.
You were also recording it with your cell phone?
Yes.
The last video that we just watched there of the shooting of Joseph Rosenbaum, was that recorded on your body cam or on your cell phone?
Both.
I just saw one video. Were there more than one video that you just shared with us?
There's two. There's the body cam and then there's the cell phone as well.
What was the one we just saw?
I believe that may have been both.
Where is the body cam located when you wear it on your body?
Right here.
And when you recorded the shooting of Joseph Rosenbaum, where were you holding your cell phone?
Right here.
Okay, so the cell phone is, you're using your right hand, above your shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Shoulder, same as my shoulder, right here.
And the body cam you said was over on the left side of your chest. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
I believe so, yes.
The video that we just saw had a single angle. It didn't have two separate angles. So when you tell us that's both, I don't understand what you mean.
That means that there's two recordings of the same thing. And that's why I submitted to the defense and the prosecution the entire videos. There's maybe about 80 to 100 videos that you guys could examine for yourself.
I know all that. What I'm asking you is what we just watched.
Mm-hmm.
Which camera were you using to record that?
Both.
Is that video edited?
No, I have not edited it, but it has been put together at the right time, the timing.
Who did that?
I did that.
So you combined two video sources into one?
With the same timing and audio, but at the same time, it could also be seen, the jury could see for themselves. If they look at the body cam footage, it's the exact same thing.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Don't wag your head in response to the witness's answer.
What you said, if the jury looks at the body cam footage, is that separate from the cell phone footage?
Yeah, there's obviously two devices recording.
And you're telling us that the video that we just watched, can we have exhibit 151 played again, please?
We're late.
Mr.
Come in.
Hernandez, we have the video that was the last one played for you, exhibit 151 up on the screen.
Okay, I was into this. I was so into this, I forgot. I was so into this, I forgot. We got another trial to go to. Okay, I was I'll see you guys over there in a minute.